Sweeping the country is having an even more profound impact on military veterans. According to the National Institutes of Health, twice as many vets are dying from opioid overdoses than the general population.
The Veterans Administration has responded with a new program cutting the number of prescribed pain pills. But even the VA in Cincinnati admits that many vets will experience physical dependency when those opioids are reduced. Tonight, Local 12 investigative reporter Dwayne Pullman zeroes in on the case of a local veteran who says he is addicted to pain pills.
2 decades ago, Ron Hamilton of New Richmond went to war. He was a sergeant in the Army, a gunner on a tank, leading the assault on Iraqi forces during Desert Storm. But Hamilton says his toughest battle is happening right now here at home as he struggles with an addiction to a pile of pain pills prescribed for years by doctors at the VA Medical Center in Cincinnati.
Literally, my life is falling apart because I can't function anymore.
After years of chronic compression of his spine and debilitating disc issues, Ron can now barely walk or even stand. He's in constant pain.
Are you in pain right now?
Yeah.
Ron's back trouble started before the Gulf War, when he and his crew were trying to fix the tracks on his tank.
They lost their grip. I was holding on to it. I went down on my knees in excruciating pain.
Doctors here at the Veterans Administration Medical Center in Cincinnati operated on Ron's back in the 90s, but his pain only got worse. To manage it, Hamilton, like hundreds of thousands of veterans, was prescribed highly addictive pain pills.
I think it was OxyContin.
He has taken nearly every type of opioid.
Oxycodone?
Right.
Methadone?
Right.
Every day.
Oxycontin?
Yes.
Fentanyl patches?
Yes.
For nearly 17 years.
Morphine?
Yes.
Even morphine?
Even morphine.
Hamilton provided Local 12 News with a complete copy of his medical file, agreeing to allow us to show his records.
Show them on the air. I have no objection, no problem with that at all.
Records that reveal a staggering amount of opioids, tens of thousands of pain pills prescribed over a 17-year period. In June 2011, Ron's prescriptions for opioids reached its highest level, 280 10-milligram doses of methadone, often used to treat heroin addicts, plus 224 5-milligram pills of oxycodone. That's 504 opioids for just 1 month.
This is what that looks like. That's 504 pills. Ron was prescribed this pile of pain pills every month for 2.5 years. That adds up to more than 15,000 opioids.
I was on a regimen of 12 methadone a day, which is 120 milligrams, and 6 oxycodone 5s.
18 pills.
Right.
A day.
Mm-hmm.
And that was prescribed by the doctor at the VA.
Yes, it was.
On the Ohio Pharmacy Board's website, you can calculate opioid risk by measuring what's called the morphine equivalent dose, or MED. According to state guidelines, a score of 80 MED or higher is the danger zone. That's when the Pharmacy Board says all prescriptions should be stopped and reassessed. So I plugged in Ron's prescription numbers. 10 milligrams of methadone, 12 times a day. 5 milligrams of oxycodone, 6 times a day. The total, 405 MEDs. That's 5 times higher than what the state says is dangerous.
Are you an addict?
At this point, anybody that's been prescribed the medicine that I have for the amount of years, how can you not be an addict?
Ron Hamilton says his addiction is clear, but the VA says something else. Coming up right after the break, a new program at the VA to cut those pills causes our local vet to panic as Local 12 investigates Army addicts. Addicts showed you how Ron Hamilton, a war veteran, is now struggling with pain and addiction. His struggle became very clear when we caught a moment of panic on camera.
Hamilton says his addiction became clear when the VA began its Opioid Safety Initiative, drastically cutting the number of pain pills prescribed to all but cancer patients, with the goal of bringing that morphine equivalent dose down to less than 100. The number of opioids Ron is now prescribed has been cut by a third, which he says has triggered severe symptoms of withdrawal.
Diarrhea, it sweats, it's waking up all night long.
Shaking?
Shaking.
And moments
Hang on.
of panic.
What are you looking for?
That methadone, half a pill.
While we were there, Ron began frantically searching for part of a pain pill he thought he dropped.
See, this happened to me before.
It was in the bottle the whole time.
How did that happen?
Who made you an addict?
Well, the VA.
So did doctors here at the VA actually let Ron Hamilton down, prescribing too many pills and getting him hooked on them? After weeks of trying to get a comment about Ron's case, the VA turned down my request for an on-camera interview. So I asked in writing, is the VA and its doctors responsible for high numbers of veterans like Ron who are now addicted to opioids? The Cincinnati VA finally answered with a lengthy written response, stating in part, addiction is uncommon and that the opioid epidemic sweeping across the United States extends well beyond the Veterans Administration, adding that chronic pain is a complex lifelong condition that has no fix or cure. When it comes to cutting the number of pain pills through its Opioid Safety Initiative, the VA wrote, a pain team determines a plan that is tailored to the veteran and might include a slow taper of opioids.
You might be weaning me off the drug, but my pain is way worse than what it was. I can no longer function as I was.
For Ron, the picture is not pretty. Other vets, Ron says, are so desperate they're now turning to the streets.
Heroin?
Yes.
And even Ron says he can't rule that out.
Did you think about it?
Yes.
You haven't done it.
No.
Will you?
I hope not.
There's no question the VA had to do something to curb opioid use, but Ron Hamilton says he's hooked on the opioids he was prescribed for years, and now he and other vets are desperate as they try to adjust to a dwindling supply. By the way, you can see the full statement from the Cincinnati VA online at local12.com, and you can plug in your own pill numbers to see if you're taking too many opioids. Just click on the story. We have a link to the MED calculator right inside. I'm Dwayne Pullman, Local 12 News.